monthly calendars that Miss Jennifer Moniz puts out. She's added a senior program. It is still in the planning stages, but last Monday was the first meeting. We had about maybe 10 or 12 seniors out there that were very excited about continuing the program. And so we're trying to design programs that, for seniors so they can engage, learn, socialize, and of course, try to enrich their lives. You know, many seniors have experienced loneliness and they need a place to go and gather. So we're going to try to work with the socialization, workshops, lectures, book clubs, and other activities to stimulate intellectual activities for them, promote the health and well-being. We'll have maybe do a little yoga class or maybe a ballet folklorico dancing or something to promote the health and well-being. We'll have some more sponsored agencies go out there and promote some of the health and well-being programs. Community engagement is real important, so we want to bring them in, improve their skill building and empowerment, cultural enrichment. We're going to host art exhibits, music performances, maybe some film screenings. So that is all part of and then of course make resources accessible to them. That is all part of the preliminary planning that we have in place for the seniors.
Who's involved in the planning of this particular?
We try to work, Ms. Jennifer, we have a library board that we have the library board that also gives us some recommendations, and of course the experience of Ms. Jennifer that she's had with other programs that she's put on. But we're certainly open to anything else, and that's what these seniors are doing when they meet. They also give us some additional comments and input for us as to what else they would like to see out there.
I think what I would like to see from the city end of it, council, is very possibly feeding these seniors like once a month type thing. And something in behalf of the city. No, we need to talk, maybe budgeting some sort of funding on the side for something like that, because we don't have that wellness center like other cities do. So I think that would be a huge impact within our senior community. So something that I think I would want to, we can look into as we move forward. And this is a good start right here. So.
Currently, we provide a very dulce, coffee, something like that.
Yeah, even if we have to partner up with like HEB, one of them, maybe we don't have to make that expense.
Yeah, I think that right now, honestly, I think that just working with the food bank, I would venture to say that they would be able to provide, basic stuff. I mean, we're just talking coffee initially, and then eventually, I know I've spoken to Mr. Mario Lelo about actually establishing a program for folks to actually, serve them a meal, one meal a day. We were just in the talking stages, so we didn't get past the talk. But in saying that, I've discussed that.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have to have this session as far as possibly transportation as well for them.
So our main objective with this program, again, it's still in the preliminary planning stages, but is to provide them with an avenue for a safe space and socialization. So we'll continue to work on this, and like Mr. Ray said, ultimately our long-range planning is to provide a community center where we do provide meals during the lunch hour, along with activities, and also maybe some food distribution that is targeted specifically for our seniors. Next, we have the report in your program is the code compliance that Mr. Gano Esquivel, if you will look at the chart that displays the number of cases, you will note that for January we had 36, in February we had 40 cases, and in March we had 28 cases that came in. page, we have closed out or resolved 62 cases. We have 39 open and 3 that are pending further investigation, or they're pending when we issue the notice of violations, it's a 15-day notice. So after that, we will take action whether to either send out a second notice of violation depending on what the violation is, or move immediately to perhaps issuing citations. Mr. Esquivel has now been commissioned, so he will be able to issue out citations. And third page is just year end, where we are, year end to date. So, any questions on the code enforcement?
I just want to say, he actually did a phenomenal job calming me down the other day. It was last week. I came home for lunch and there was a huge pig, like I'm talking massively huge pig, in my pit bull's enclosure. My pit bull was just sitting outside and I freaked out and I called 911 and I had him come over there and he rushed over there along with Pearsall PD and Frio County. So, I mean, they were able to get the owner, find the owner, and she came and she took her pig but I mean, they did such an awesome job making sure the pig stayed in there, didn't hurt anybody, or, you know, that my dog didn't hurt the pig, and, yeah, so, it's off to Mr. Esquivel and Pearsall PD and Frio County.
One of the things that we will be bringing you a presentation with regards to code enforcement is that we're working closely with our PD and Public Works. We're gonna have a preliminary meeting. We've identified, Mr. Reyes has sat in on the meetings with us. We've identified about 7 structures or weedy lots that the city will be cleaning up. And those we identified them as, Mr. Cano identified them because there are, the owners are deceased and there are also no heirs. So they're pretty much, we've gone as far as we can in terms of getting someone, either the heir or the owners, to clean it up. So we've identified about 7 of those, and we'll be bringing that presentation to y'all, and we'll have a date when we're going to initiate and actually get started on that.
And what about houses, burned houses, dilapidated buildings that are here in the city?
I'll speak to them a bit. Part of what we're doing is identifying houses and structures. Now, those take a little bit longer to process because they have to run through the gamut. Actually, they come to the city council for approval, for y'all to agree that the houses need to be demolished. And once we demolish them, the cost, and just so we're kind of on the same page, the cost of what we absorb is the cost of staff to tear the houses down, and then containers that we have to pay for the public. On average, what I'm gathering, this is what I'm understanding, is it takes about 4 containers, the biggest ones, to, I don't know for sure because we haven't torn down a house yet, but it takes around 4 containers to tear down a home. And so if we do that, part of what we're trying to do is gauge how much that's going to cost us. So that's running around $900 to $1,000 a container. And that, so what we're trying to do is we work that agreement with Republic Services. I know we've talked about that as far as negotiating our contract with them. Part of that is if we can figure some things out, we're hoping to utilize that contract to our advantage.
So as Mr. Ray said, those dilapidated or substandard housing do have to go through a longer process so that we remain within our state statute as far as requirements, and that we don't do a taking without permission and we demolish a house that we didn't clear those hurdles. So that takes a little bit longer, but we will come back with a program because we do have substandard housing that has been identified through our comprehensive master plan. So we do have those. We will be putting some type of implementation plan and possibly a private public joint venture to work all together to work towards the substandard housing being demolished.
So question, while we're going through that process, let's just say, for example, on a home, in going through that process, can we notify the neighbors? Are we, I mean, can we give an update to the neighbors, say, you know what, the city's in the process of, you know, cause I've had a few
You know,
people come forward.
That may be a question for the city attorney, similar to what, because we notify them for P and Z request. Now, we could maybe notify them and say, hey, we've let your neighbor know that you're a nuisance, I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, it'd be
Probably.
possible to send like a courtesy letter more than any kind of official notice, because the official notices go out once, you know, we go through the procedure of
Yes.
taking the home or seizing the home.
Mhm. I think that's what's causing many of the chaos within the community,
Mhm.
is there's all these homes, and so the neighbors, and I've received like 3 calls already for certain homes, where the neighbors like that home has been there for years, there's
Yep.
nobody, no family, no nothing, so what's going on, but then when when I've asked Fred and stuff, we're going through this process, so I think that's where we can actually, you know, get the community and say, you know what, we are going, it's in this process, or bear with us, whatever we can, communication we can get to those neighbors.
And like our attorney has stated, we will, notify them through, as we go through that takings process. But one of the other additional things, and maybe this will help, is we can do a placard on that building, and that will notify them that we are actually doing some process on those.
Mhm.
And then we
Yeah.
will do our best to, you know, to put it in the paper, and maybe our social medias and our websites to also let them know as we're going through this program, the demolition program.
Good.
We'll do that as well.
I'll check with you in 60 days.
And how are we gonna know, like, I mean, let's say we know where one is, like, there's a house that's right across the street, you know, from where I used to live, that it was burned down. When I was living there, I had made calls to PD because there were all kinds of, you know, drug
Illegal
addicts and stuff
activities.
going in and out of there, and nothing ever happened, and the house is still standing. It's boarded up, but you can tell it was, you know, that there was a fire there, so how are we supposed to do that?
Yeah, I think on that end, part of what Ms. Moran says, we have, identified most of the substandard homes in Pearson. So we have a map that we can share with y'all, because, and we can basically show you, this is where we see now, priority wise, which one goes first, right? You know, we have quite a few dilapidated structures, but part of it is, you know, on our end from the budget process is saying, you know, can we knock 1 or 2 down a month? Could we do that? Being reasonable to the budget, right? I mean, if we're talking $4,000 a home, and we do say 12 homes, that's $50,000, and we do 24 homes, well, that's $100,000. So trying to be practical and make sure that we include that as part of the budget, and folks, quite frankly, may see some sort of an increase to their garbage bill, right? Because, you know, that's how this is being funded, is through rates. And so there has to be some sort of, you know, we are gonna have to do something, but again, sometimes it's about some dollars, but we do need to do something. I mean, in saying that as you know, there's a lot of, what we want ultimately is compliance. We would prefer that the landowner clean up the property. But if we have to jump in there, we just become, really expensive, lawn care providers. And that's what happens sometimes,
So we do need to follow a lien against the property.
Possibly, council, even a report that can be given to the council as far as an updated addresses as the city's working through these properties, in case we get those phone calls saying, yeah, it's on our list.
Yeah, that's a good idea, just to start keeping record of that.
Yeah, we, like I said, our comprehensive master plan has identified, I think it's about 200 structures.
we have it's a map,
And we have pictures already, so we can bring, like I said, we can do a presentation. But when we actually go through the process, we can bring these to you all, identify the ones, and then council will, makes the decision on which ones will get demolished, so that will be brought to you all. There's also grants, there's a CDBG program that does, neighborhood improvement grants. We can certainly look at applying for that. The private public sector at one time, in my experience, I've used the National Guard, or Texas National Guard they've come in and they will do demolitions. It's been some time since I've looked into that program, since COVID. I'm not sure if they are still doing that, but that's another, thing that we are also looking at doing in that, so. We'll be bringing that to you all very soon.
Thank you.
All right, so if there's no other questions regarding, our code enforcement, I'm gonna move into our building, permitting section. So you have before you the sheet that, this is our encode sheet that itemizes the number of fees that were taken in. In January, we had, 3,600 fees that were taken. In February, we had 7,900. And for the month of March, we are at 13,435 fees collected. We have a permit summary report by type. March, we issued 37 permits. 32 of them were in the building. Then you have your electrical relocation and solar panels. What we're finding is we're issuing a lot of permits for solar panels and of course the roofing. So we've also have drafted a roofing permit that's in the process of being reviewed, and that will be a new permit instead of the usual residential one that we issue. Is going to be specific for roofing. The permit summary report that you have, again, in March of 2024, we issued out 32 permits with a total project cost of $475,000 approximately. In comparison to March of 2023, only 13 permits were issued, and about 90,000 was collected in fee, and the project cost evaluations for March of 2024. We had a total project cost of from January to March, we had $1,656,000 in total project cost evaluations on the types of permits we issued. Compared to, we issued 82 from January to March of this year, I'm sorry. Last year, January to March of 2023, there was only 33 issued. So we are making progress. I'd like to say that a lot of this is part enforcement and part transparency, and also communicating with the public and the contractors. We've had workshops with contractors, and we'll continue to try to do that on a quarterly basis. Any questions in the report?
Council, I'm really excited. This is taking up a large amount of time of our assistant city manager, but you're doing a great job and it's bringing to bear some things we really need to apply in our community,
And
protect the construction process, so.
on the community development side, I'd just like to say that we're currently moving along with businesses coming in. We have about 5 preliminary plats that I'm looking through and working through the process. You'll see 3 of those tonight, but we have about 5 of these. One is housing subdivision, the others are retail. So we'll talk about those.
All right, thank you very much, Yolanda. Next, going on to 5E, we've got Judge DeLeon. Judge?
Good evening, Mayor, council members, citizens. Y'all want the long version or the condensed version, like Councilman Yalash?
Short and sweet. Short and sweet.
Then I'm gonna ask to be put on the front of the line next time. Okay, well, you pretty much got those reports, right? So, basically, new cases filed, 92, we disposed 145, had 10 new truancy cases. Total revenue brought in for the month of March was 60, hang on, those numbers are a little too small. 16,932.67, with our court, the PD requested 3 misdemeanor warrants. Now, That could be off because they can go to other judges, for whatever reasons, and request, warrants through them as well, the JPs, so forth and so on. I'm just saying that's what they brought to me. Usually the turnaround is within an hour, if they need it pretty quick. If not, 2 to 3 hours. But we're constantly, gradually moving forward, and it seems like we're increasing considering the